So what we're going to do is we're going to create a search page. So we need to add a button search terms. Don't worry if that's not there, but we're going to add a button called search terms. And when we click on that, it's going to start with, pull up all of our terms. Okay, lots of them here. And then what it's going to do is we've got two things we can search on. We've got the term and we've got all the specifications that we can have. Okay, so for example, if I've got lots of test ones in here, so if I type in test, it should have filtered. You've seen it's just filtered all of those so that it's just all the test ones. Okay, so as I go through this, it should pick out ones as I'm typing it in. Okay, and that's really powerful. If we're searching for something, we're going to be looking at linear search and binary search later, but this is what it's actually doing. It's searching through, and you can see that that works. So the other way of doing it is to filter by what we're talking about. Okay, so there's no things I've got in there to do with these. So these are all we've got on data representation. So these are all my data about data representation. And if I clear the search, it should take it back to what it was. Okay, and put the things in. So a very simple search. Okay, and it is, in terms of programming, it is actually not too difficult to do that. So we're relying on capturing the event. So when we type in, we've got to capture that event. When we change a box, we've got to capture that event. Okay, so it's captured that event because I've changed it. Okay, and when I click on a button, so we're talking about this event-driven programming here, where we've got events by the user. So in terms of what the code for that actually looks like, okay, let's show you what the code looks like. So this is my search terms.js. The SharePoint page is going to take you through some of this, but basically we are loading up the definitions and making them appear on the page when we start. Okay, so we're going through our definitions. We're saying go through each definition, and then we're adding something to the div. We've got a clear search button. Okay, we've got some data in there. There's an on-click event, so it clears the div, loops through the current, well, gets that, loops through the current list to make the cards. Okay, so that shouldn't say that, should it? It should say grab the data from the button. Okay, so that gets the data from the button. And then the other one is a search. This time we've got a key up function, so that's a key up event, so that's a bit different. So that's when we press the key and we run our way back up again. Okay, so press it down and it's coming back up again. Okay, so it's after you've typed. So, and again, same principle. We clear out the cards, we get the text value, we grab it, we get the length of it because we need to know the length of it because what we're searching on. We grab the data from the list, we filter it, and on the SharePoint page we go through explaining how we do this filter. But it's just definitions filter, and we're saying each definition has got to meet this condition, right? So basically this says what the term starts with. If it starts with whatever I've typed in so far. So here, this text is whatever I've typed in so far. Okay, so that's what's in the text box. And then if there's nothing in the list, then I'm going to say there's nothing in the list. Otherwise, I'm going to make it go through and rebuild my cards list. So remember, we cleared it, done a bit of processing, filled it up again. And likewise, specref is a drop-down box, and it's on change of the drop-down box, and it's doing exactly the same. Look, clearing the cards, getting that, it doesn't need that anymore. Okay, grab the text, we don't need the length this time. we're getting the data from the button, we're filtering the list. Again, this time, there's no splicing or anything going on. We're not taking any part of it. We're just saying if the definition spec-ref equals the one that we've grabbed from the drop-down list, this, okay, we're here, then that will filter it and put it into here. If the length of that, of the filtered data is nothing, then there's no specification references. Otherwise, we loop through the list, the new list, and we add cards to the div because we've cleared the div here. Okay, so it's very simple process where we're just going through step by step. And this is what I want you to make sure you understand. What we're doing here is step by step. Okay, we just take this step, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. Programming is about ordering the steps that we take and just being logical about the steps that we take. So we clear out the cards and then we populate the cards again. Okay, so we clear out the card div and we populate the card div again. In between, we work out what we're going to do. So this is my current list. Okay, and then we are, well, actually, I don't need that, do I, there? That's not actually required because I'm filtering the definitions. Okay, I'm filtering the definitions and there it is. That's what I'm doing. So I can take that off all of these because I don't need that there. It must be something I did earlier and not deleted it. Okay, yeah, so that's right there. That's where it's come from. So that's the current list. I've got it from the data and then we're putting it back there. Okay, so that should, in theory, let's get the right one. That should be doing this. So if I type X, there should be none. So it's just telling me that there's none. R, there's 2 with R, and so on. Okay, so you should work on yours and it should be quite powerful. And then we clear the search and it takes it back to what it was before. Okay.